I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. 5 slams is epic, but the real game was the money behind the wins. Maria Sharapova spent more than a decade as the top-paid woman in sports, and it wasn't just prize checks. It was contracts, clauses, and choices that turned moments into a machine. I grew up in Manchester counting coins for bus fare, so hearing she pulled in nearly $30 million in a year made my brain do backflips. Like, how does a serve turn into ownership, and not just a bigger closet? Today, I'll show you the stack. Nike on apparel, Head on rackets, Evian on water, Porsche on wheels, and how each lane pays differently. We'll map base fees, slam bonuses, appearance days, and the sweet word you want on paper, royalties. We'll also talk image rights, because your face in Paris shouldn't be used the same way as your face in Tokyo without a plan. And yes, we'll hit the messy part, the morality clause, and how a ban can freeze the cash and test the brand. If this sounds like the kind of messy but real talk you want more of, that's what we do here at Kickin' Riches. So yeah, subscribe if you want in. Ready to see how an endorsement actually pays line by line? Good, because the stack is where the story starts next. Here's the map you asked for, simple and clean. Apparel is Nike, the monster lane, and the number that made headlines was a huge multi-year pact signed back in 2010. Rackets are with Head, which ties her equipment to her performance story. Hydration lane is Evian, classic premium water with global splash. Wheels are Porsche, which adds shine and events to the calendar. That's your category spread, and it matters because fans remember long runs, not one-off flangs. You pick lanes that fit your daily life so the story feels true when the camera's off. Each partner buys image rights, often by region, so a billboard in Europe might be okay, but a TV spot in Asia needs another sign-off. Why care? Because rights equal leverage, and leverage equals money or equity. The rhythm here is simple. One lane for what you wear, one for what you swing, one for what you sip, one for how you arrive. It's like building a 4-leg table so nothing wobbles. I love the neatness of it, but I also feel this twitch, like, am I missing the fine print that actually moves the needle? Want to peek inside how these deals pay in real life? Cool, let's crack the pay lines next. Okay, money path time. Most big athlete deals have 4 pipes. Pipe 1 is a base fee, the guaranteed yearly check. That's your floor, keeps the lights on. Pipe 2 is performance bonuses, like ranking triggers or a pop when you win a slam, which Forbes even noted after her French Open run. Pipe 3 is appearance days, the fly to Stuttgart shake hands and smile stuff. That time is budgeted and paid. Pipe 4 is royalties on co-branded gear or capsule drops. That's the sneaky compounding bit, because a product can sell while you sleep. Now, I used to think, just take the biggest base and go home. But then you see how a royalty check grows with fan memory, and you start asking for a small slice for a long time. Image rights sit over all of this like an umbrella. License the face, define the borders, protect the brand. And if you're wondering, yes, long terms help fans lock the story in their heads, which means better sell-through when the next collab hits. Quick gut check. Do you feel how this becomes a system, not just a poster? Good, because the clause that can break that system sits in the crisis drawer. Let's talk the bit no one wants to read, but everyone signs, the morality clause. It's the rule that says if your actions hurt the sponsor's reputation, the partner can pause or walk. In 2016, after the positive test and the ban, sponsors publicly stepped aside. That's the clause in motion. Payments slow or stop, campaigns get pulled, store displays vanish, and you learn real quick which lines in the contract matter. It's harsh, and it's also why you plan cash flow like winter could arrive any day. Here's the odd part that bugs me. You can do 10 years of clean work, then one storm freezes the whole river, and you're stuck counting the fish under the ice. But a comeback is a thing. Serve your time, rebuild trust, restart the machine. That's why category fit and long-term stories are gold, because fans remember the person, not only the headline. And if you put equity in some deals, the ownership can outlast the pause. So how did Maria build something that could sell even when she wasn't on a court or on a poster? Right, we need to open the bag with the lips on it. Candy sounds random until you sit with it. Mass market, fun, giftable. You don't need a tennis fan to buy a bag of gummies. In 2012, she put in around $500,000 of her own money to launch Sugarpova. That's skin in the game. The packaging shouts from the shelf, shapes like lips, playful names. You see it, you grin, you grab. It aimed at the premium niche inside a giant gummy market, and early reports showed traction with sales across dozens of countries and millions of bags sold. Critics said, "Wait, an athlete selling sugar? Really?" She pushed back, calling it a treat, not a diet, and the consumer kept buying. Here's my inner tussle. I want to call it easy, but it's not. Shelf space is rent you pay with design, velocity, and relationships. You earn the eye, you keep the slot. Why candy? Because you can gift it, carry it, and understand it in 2 seconds flat. Want to see how the business runs without Maria on every screen? Cool. Let's get into operations and unit economics next. Operations looks boring until you realize it's the scoreboard. A brand like Sugarpova uses good co-manufacturers so quality stays tight and scale is possible. Wholesale puts you in retailers, gift shops, and travel stores like airports and event venues. Direct-to-consumer gives you data and higher margins, but you carry shipping, returns, and customer support. Packaging is not decoration. It is your first ad and your best closer. You fight for shelf space, then you fight for sell-through so the buyer reorders. Unit economics in candy are simple in shape even if the numbers move. You've got ingredients, manufacturing fee, packaging, freight, distributor and retail margins, trade promos, and what's left is your gross profit per bag. Keep that positive, protect it with smart pricing, and you've got a real business, not a vanity line. I used to think celebrity brands live or die on selfies, but here's the tell. Airport and event retail move product to total strangers, which means the brand story stands on its own. And when sales hit millions of units in early years, you know it crossed beyond fandom. So what happens when an athlete stops selling time and starts buying ownership in other people's products? Let's talk investing next. This is where the playbook grows up. Maria didn't just cash checks. She took equity in brands she actually used and advised. In 2014, she became a co-owner in Supergoop, the sunscreen company that turned daily SPF into a habit. That's not just a logo swap. That's capital plus product feedback plus distribution ideas, which can be worth more than a bigger base fee. Advising keeps you close to the product loop. You test, you tweak, you help shape launches, and if the company scales, your slice scales with it. I get a bit torn here because cash now is safe and equity later is, well, later. But the upside from a real stake can dwarf a single season's bonus. The key is fit. Consumer and wellness lanes match your life, so the story is believable and consistent. It's the same refrain: live the category, then own some of it. So if you're not a Grand Slam champion, how do you copy this without, a Porsche ad on day one? Let's build your version next. Here's the no excuses plan I wish I had at uni. Pick categories you live in every day, because faking is expensive. Stack partners by lane so no one overlaps, and protect your image rights by region. Trade a little cash for equity or royalties where it makes sense, even if it's tiny at first. Ask for appearance days you can actually deliver so you don't burn out. For your product, design packaging that sells from 2 feet away, then test sell-through in one store before you chase 10. Choose a reliable co-manufacturer before you choose a hashtag. Build both wholesale and direct so one bad month in retail doesn't sink your boat. Write a crisis plan like winter is coming because it might. And track a simple dashboard: units, margin, reorders, and cash in the bank. I know it sounds neat on paper and life is messy, but the structure holds when the week gets weird. If this is the kind of practical breakdown you want more of, hit subscribe because we do this twice a week on Kickin' Riches. Want to see how the comeback piece ties it all together into long-term brand value? Cool, last bit coming up. So here's the big picture, and I'm saying it to you like a maid over coffee. Trophies opened doors. Contracts built rooms. Equity built the house. Maria Sharapova rode 4 lanes of endorsements, took the hit when the claws bit, and still had a brand that could sell on a shelf without her face. Sugarpova proved a premium treat can be a real business when packaging, placement, and partners line up. Investments like Supergoop showed how advice plus capital can beat a bigger check today. I still wrestle with the risk math, by the way. Cash now is warm. Equity later is a bet. But if the story fits your life, the bet can stack. If this episode helped, thank you for watching, and yes, subscribe if you want more of this messy but real money talk from Kickin' Riches. Go queue up our next deep dive and keep the streak going, because your brain builds wealth like a rally, one clean hit at a time. So, with your name and your lanes, which door are you going to build first?